Welcome to Matt Batson's Dumb Sports Show Arena. Today's guest, from Kinda Funny, half guard, standing at 6'3", the Nitro Rifle himself, Andy Cortez.
Mercury Records, please don't come after us.
That's going to be my favorite part, is trying to figure out how much copywritten shit I can get away with.
In about 2 weeks, you'll be asking your guests, what genre of music do you prefer? So what can I take from the YouTube music library?
My backup is going to get a recorder, and I'm going to say, hey, what song do you kind of want to come out to? But we'll just see how far we can get. That and then the Spurs footage on top of there. Andy and everybody else, welcome to Matt Batson's Dumb Sports Show. Sports show where we talk about all kinds of sports stuff, or we talk about all kinds of dumb stuff. It's not mutually exclusive. Andy, welcome to the show. Big fan.
Very happy to be here, Matt. I'm happy to be the first guest, the inaugural guest here on the episode. It's something that I will go to my grave with. I'm never going to tell anybody about this.
You're okay. So we're not going to post this episode so he's going to his grave with it. No, if you listen to this, don't tell anybody. Do not share this. Do not
tell a soul.
Talk about this episode. This never happened. If you hear this, and God forbid you hear this. If you did, then you probably hacked this computer.
May God have mercy on your soul. It's like the thing in Indiana Jones, because I always could just think about the last thing that I saw. If you listen to it, your ears turn to wax.
Your ears turn to wax. Just melt right off. Having a Van Gogh. Having a Van Gogh. Yeah. Well, hey, let's start with our first question, because it's a great jumping on point. We have a question segment later, but Gino Viteri, at Gino Viteri, good friend of both of ours, excellent streamer. Gino V. Throw up the V's.
Big ups.
Throw up the V's on the
Gino
chat.
V.
There we go. He asks, what's your earliest memory watching sports? And I chose this question to start the show because that's kind of what this show is going to be about. It's about, it's not about sports news or anything like that. This is about, hey, you like sports. Tell us about that. So what's your earliest memory watching sports?
Oh, goodness. It's got to be something Braves or Cowboys related. And I've got to say it's most likely the 40 whatever to 14 trouncing of the Bills in the Super Bowl. That's probably what I remember the most. And that was I was maybe like 4 years old or something when that happened. So like I have these kind of weird selective memories, but they're insanely vivid. I always think about one of the earliest memories I have was, I think, the Sid Bream play with the Braves, but I was too young. I think I was like maybe 2 years old, so maybe I just heard that story when I was 3 or 4 or 5 or something like that.
Just put it in your memory, you just stole it.
Yeah, how my dad was like going buck wild, and he like woke my brother up, even though my brother had school the next day, because my brother was going to be really excited, because my brother's 5 years older, so that would have meant a lot more to him. But it's all those old Cowboys and Braves memories when just the 90s were a dominant, fun time to be alive. And luckily, I don't remember any bit of it. So, like, I didn't get to absorb any of that fandom, and it just breaks my heart that it's been heartbreaking ever since.
Yeah, I think about the same thing as a Braves fan, but yeah, it's the same with the Cowboys too. It's like, it's such this rich history of the '90s specifically, and it's like, I don't really remember any of that. I was just too young for all of that.
Yeah, all the wins. I do remember being in elementary school, and this girl named Jody, her parents were Steelers fans, and the Cowboys had beaten the Steelers, and that was a big deal. But aside from that, I just remember, wearing an Emmitt Smith jersey and running around the front yard with my brother and playing football and tackle football and stuff like that. So we were always our family was always very involved in sports. We played all sports. I never played football.
Yeah.
In school or anything, but I was I mean, I could fling the pill. Let's be honest. Like
Exactly. Yeah.
I could chuck that shit down the field. You put me in the slot, I'm guaranteed first down every time.
You're out there at recess slinging the pill, or you're out there?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well,
big
I
time?
mean, in both cases, I was either like me and my friends were always like super into sports, so whether it was my brother and I playing at home against the neighbors in the front yard or whatever,
Mhm.
or the neighbors down the street. We always had kind of people come into our little like part of the neighborhood, and we'd play football on the street and touch football. Of course, you don't want to
Right.
get tackled on.
Oh, you're
on
never doing
asphalt.
tackle as a kid? Well, you got asphalt too.
No, yeah, we would do tackle in the grass for
Mhm.
sure. But
That's
the thing with the grass, lots of allergies, Batson.
that's
Like
true. That's true.
the amount of times we'd play tackle in the grass, and the whole rest of the night I'd be itchy and just covered in like just red because of all the little prickly
These
stuff
battle
kind of hitting me.
scars.
Yeah, battle scars. I'm pretty sure I got several concussions as a kid. I just don't
Exactly.
remember
Well,
them.
which one's worse? You get concussion, you get some rashes on your
Rashes
elbow.
or concussions.
It's really bad. You're
You
picking
gotta-
at
you
that
gotta
all
assume,
day.
like-
CTE.
you gotta
Who knows when that goes away?
You got to assume Troy Aikman's like rashes or concussions. Which would I?
Yeah. Which
weigh
one am
in.
I gonna do? Into that, just kind of like off the top, who are Andy's teams that he's looking into every day? He's always checking the ticker, want to know the scores, want to know all the players. Who are Andy's teams that he keeps up with?
So I'm not gonna beat around the bush. I'm not gonna sit here like a fake fan. I very much fell out of baseball and the Braves when the Braves got bad.
Oh, same here. Same here.
And I, of course, have been following the last few years because they got better. But it's not necessarily an indictment on the Braves. I think it's just an indictment on baseball. And I kind of
Absolutely.
I fell out of the sport. And we're talking every day the Braves were on TBS, and that's all we watch. And everybody always wonders, Andy, why are you a sports fan? You're from Texas. Why not Rangers or Astros? Because of TBS. TBS is a nationally syndicated channel on cable, and the Braves were on every day pretty much during the summer.
Mhm.
And so that's how my dad became a Braves fan. He got us into the Braves, and yeah, I definitely fell off when I sort of just fell out of love with baseball. And I kind of feel around maybe the year 2010, I think, when they lost against the Giants in the playoffs. That was sort of the last I remember really following them up until their more recent resurgence. And I think that was before the baby Braves era with like Jeff Francoeur and Brian McCann.
I think that
'cause
was
they had the
after or 2010. I think that was like maybe during. But I remember that team
might
kind
have
of
been.
falling apart and then splitting up, and then because I feel like around the same times when I stopped watching too.
Yeah, because I definitely remember those playoff games against the Giants. And I remember, I just remember being really, really heartbroken. And then that's kind of when I fell out of baseball. But by this point, the Spurs had sort of taken over my life, and they had taken over my life probably around high school, I'd say. I mean, probably definitely before that as well. But yeah, the Cowboys and the Spurs are my other two teams. The Cowboys have always been a constant just because I just have fun watching football.
Mhm.
And definitely during the areas where I wasn't so into the Braves, fantasy football had come around. So that just ignited my love for football even more.
Yeah,
And so it was just a constant, football was always happening. And I was always caring about the Cowboys. And even the losing years, I
Mhm.
would watch the Cowboys every game. And there's plenty of those. There's plenty of those losing years. Like in the, we're talking like I'm in middle school. Maybe it was like freshman year of high school. I don't remember. But I'd be like, hey, yo, Tommy, talking to my friend Tommy Tijerina. Hey, Tommy, I think Quincy Carter and Troy Hambrick are the ones, man. I think like this year, I think Quincy Carter is really going to show up this year. And like I felt that about every quarterback. Drew Henson,
yeah.
anybody that
Like,
came
this
with the
is the
Cowboys,
guy.
like, oh,
This
this
is the
guy's
guy.
the one. And it would just inevitably led to heartbreak.
Right. Tony Romo shows up. You're like, I don't know about him.
Oh no, Tony was my guy
Immediately,
because
yeah.
of preseason.
Yeah.
Because the preseason was like Tony was popping the fuck off in the preseason.
Because who did Tony replace? Was it Bledsoe?
Drew Bledsoe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Drew
I'll
Bledsoe.
never forget that. I of course watched every game or whatever. So sitting there in my living room as Bledsoe is dropping back and holding the ball for 25 seconds, getting sacked, not letting it go. And then finally they pulled Bledsoe and they put in Romo. and his first pass was a pick.
Mm-hmm.
He threw an interception his first pass, but he popped off that game. And then that rest of the season, he was this brand new, exciting quarterback. And we all wanted to see him because of the preseason, because he did so well and he was so flashy and exciting, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And Romo's my guy, dude. Like, Romo was the most divisive Cowboys quarterback in history, and he is my guy. Like, I will go to the ends of the earth to defend Romo and his career, because I think he's one of the best quarterbacks that just always was propelling a 2-14 team to 8-8.
That team,
you know?
yeah,
like,
because you saw what that team was without him before, and you saw immediately after him, and it's like
1,000%. I always think about Brady in the 18-1 season, or 17-1, 18-1, 17,
yeah,
18-1.
so 8-7.
I always think about Brady in that year tearing his ACL, and then they still go the next year.
10 and
11 and 5, or no, 11 and 6. I forgot what it was. 16.
The
games,
Matt Castle year, yeah.
Yeah, and I think about, like, oh, look at that. The Patriots are still good. It's like, no. It's just the Patriots are God tier, and they lost Brady, and they had a -6 win differential.
Right.
Like, that's not good, you know. But for the Cowboys, it's like, how bad are they really? Right?
Mm-hmm.
They're really bad because they're 8-8 now, and when Romo gets hurt, they're 3-13, or 4-12. I'm trying to do math on the fly here, and it's real tough. But yeah, so like Romo's always been my guy.
This is a dumb show, so I think that I think that checks out. That we're bad at math here. Yeah. Hey, same here. Production school or whatever.
Whatever you want to call it.
Whatever you want to call it.
And then the Spurs, I never really had an NBA team.
Yeah.
Because
I wanted to ask you about that. So the Braves and the Cowboys basically run in your family, right? Like,
right.
You grew up with that. The Spurs weren't the same way. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. Yeah. The Spurs, my dad grew up a Laker fan, like anybody in the 70s did, or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah. Similar to how everybody was a Bulls fan in the 90s, that sort of thing. Cowboys fan. That's why there's Cowboys fans all around the world, you know? And my dad was a Laker fan, but just didn't really love basketball that much. So by the time the Braves and the Cowboys were dominating, basketball games weren't really ever on in my household. Like, we had a basketball hoop, but I would hear my dad reference Kareem and stuff like that, but we never watched basketball games. That just wasn't a thing. Until my Theo and Thea took me to a Spurs game in '98, and I still have the photo at home of my little disposable camera. Fucking wind up.
You're taking the picture,
thing.
Photographer, #1 games journalist, first.
Yeah, on the sideline, trying to get all the scoops.
Yeah,
and this was like pre-game, so I was able to like roam the whole area or whatever, and I was like pretty much like on the sideline view of the seats or whatever, and I took a photo. And I remember rediscovering this photo and being like, "Oh, that's Tim Duncan and David Robinson in this photo." Like, I just didn't know what I was watching.
Yeah, you're just a kid,
then, you know. Yeah. And so going to that first basketball game made me a Spurs fan, and from then on, me and my cousin, who was my daughter of my uncle and my aunt, when we were playing basketball either at her house or at my house. I was Avery Johnson, she was Tim Duncan or whatever, or she was David Robinson and I was Sean Elliott, And so that's where my Spurs fandom really began. I'd say around like 2007, like the LeBron championship, when the Braves when the Spurs beat the Cavs.
Yeah.
I'd say around then is where my love for basketball, because like I began loving the sport in middle school, and I was the guy that would play my brother all the time in the front yard, and he was always way taller than me. Not that he's insanely tall. I'm just, I'm super short.
Right.
And so we'd play basketball against each other, and I thought I was like super good because I was just draining shots all over the place. And then I hit middle school, and then all the kids are just bodying me.
Yeah.
They're like, "No, you're B team, Andy. You're B team."
Yeah.
It's like, damn, dude, I'm fast. Though. I can shoot.
Kids sports are so strange like that, and especially like that elementary school to middle school jump. Because you're a kid, like, you think you know everything, you think you know everyone. You're like, yeah, I'm pretty good at this. And then that was always the weird thing for me, because I grew up loving playing basketball too. And it's weird being a short kid, but I was a pretty round kid, and I was big. Like, I don't know, like I was tall enough that through most of elementary school, I could play like a center kind of role.
Mhm. Yeah.
And not there are like mini roles in like kids basketball, but basically they're
Right.
like, hey, you rebound, layups, and don't dribble. Whatever you do, don't dribble.
Please don't. Please, for the love of God.
Exactly. And so then when I get to middle school, I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty good at basketball. Now everybody's taller than me, and I don't know how to dribble. It's like,
Yeah.
ooh, I guess I got to stop doing this now.
Yeah, again, all I did growing up was pretty much playing 1-on-1 or 2v1 against my brother. It'd be my cousin and I against my brother. So, like we would play 100-point games, like
Yeah.
ones there and twos on the outside. Like instead of twos and threes, we play ones and twos. We played 100-point game one time. Like we were addicted to the sport. And then I joined middle school, and then that first sort of tryout that we had, this dude that I was friends with like all the way through high school. We don't really talk much anymore, just like a lot of people from middle school and high school. His name was Alfonso Elizondo, and the first time I ever experienced a screen was against him. And this guy was like probably a foot taller than me, built like a truck, and I felt every bone in my vertebrae pop. like I hadn't had that. It's like when you go to a masseuse and they're popping bones you didn't know you had.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm running to my left, boo, hit him, and I just feel like all the way up. And I was like, oh my God, like I did not expect this.
So many thoughts rushing through your head. Like you're like, what is popping? You're like, what sport am I playing? Like what?
Is this safe that I make a mistake?
Exactly.
But I guess through all of middle school and then high school, I didn't play because I was definitely a baseball player in high school. That's like where my passion was. But basketball just kind of became a constant thing that it was the easiest thing to organize with friends. And we all loved basketball anyway. And me and all my homies have been into the Spurs like hardcore since. And so it was always just really convenient when I was living in the Valley in the RGV, we don't play no games, and it'd be
no games.
It'd be I guess before I left the Valley, so around like 05, 06, I was still in high school. You know, I had just got my car, so you get hit up like, hey, let's go play at the Boys and Girls Club. Ball question mark, ball question mark. Yeah, let's go play. So we'd always go play and organize games. And all throughout college was the same thing. Whenever I would drive home from Austin back to the RGV, we would, as soon as I'd get there, they'd be like, ball, Andy's in town. We're going to play ball. We're like, yeah, fuck yeah. So we'd go find, whatever courts we usually go frequent. My brother also is a coach, so he has access to their gym. And that's the best because it's always winter. It's always chilly. Yeah. But we just close the doors and I invite all my friends to go play. So basketball is definitely like the sport that I miss the most playing through the pandemic.
Right. That's what I was going to ask. How much do you miss that gym right now? Or just I just
miss
like
anything.
That.
Like I don't know. It never occurred to me. It's like if the pandemic required it so where you couldn't play video games, I'd be like, fuck, I miss video games.
Right.
It's been years. It's like I'd been understating how much basketball meant to me until it was gone. And I can't play it, unless I, again, go to, maybe, Barrett, who I live with, his wife Alyssa is a teacher, and she might have access to the gym. Other than that, I don't have access to a court because all the ones here in SF have been removed,
Exactly.
So it freaking sucks. Yeah, I miss playing basketball a lot, and I didn't realize how much it meant to me until it was definitely gone. I was like, shit, dude. I was like finding my groove with a couple people here in the neighborhood and kind of getting some games going. And also just like that, like if I would play basketball every day and probably be insanely in shape and be a lot more fit, but I don't like running. I don't like treadmills. I don't like doing that shit.
It's so much more of a struggle to just run or do anything when you're more used to playing, a sport. It's just your mind is totally off the exercise, and you're just, all about getting dubs, slinging pills, draining the rock,
just draining threes from left and right.
Right.
Yeah, I was always telling some friends of mine who would be like, these guys are like super fit, always in the gym. And they would play basketball and be like, fuck, I'm tired. I'm like, dude, playing defense is a different workout. Playing defense is nothing that you'll experience in the gym. because it's so taxing. But it feels good. You get a good sweat in, and you feel better about yourself. And yeah, man, I miss playing basketball, but I am excited the NBA is back because that's been a nice little constant in my life. When the workday is over and maybe I don't feel like streaming, the Spurs are usually on, or anybody else is on, and I'll watch whoever is playing.
Yeah, I get that for sure. It's I feel like right now it's just a fun, like, accessible sport that you can just kind of have on. If you get a good game, you watch it. It's great. If it's not a great game, it's still on and it's still basketball. It's fun. It's just fun.
Yeah, I'd say like basketball now, in the past, I would say maybe 8 to 10 years has replaced football for me. Where football was where I don't have to know that, I don't have to care about the teams because they have these players that are on my fantasy team. And now because I think the NBA is so exciting and there's always an exciting player to watch on any given team, I'm like, the Hawks are playing. Let me see what Trae Young, right? Trae Young?
Yep, Trae Young.
Yeah, let me see how he's looking right now. Let me see. LaMelo Ball is playing right now. Let me check him out. I know it's like early in his career, so it's just I feel like the NBA is so accessible because I just like watching all these different teams.
Yeah, and kind of speaking to that too, it's like they've done such a good job promoting like the personalities of like the players, whether it's like their journey or it's their talent, like you're interested in them. Going into the season, like I've been more invested in the Wizards than I've ever been, and they're the worst team in the league. I was like, they got this guy Hachimura. He's doing great things for mixed race people in Japan. They got Deni Avdija, the rookie, in Russell Westbrook. It was like so many interesting things. It's such an interesting team. They're the worst, and it's just I think that's one of the cool parts about basketball.
They also do a great job of promoting these rivalries and how some players just straight up hate each other. And I would say aside from, homeboy from the Dodgers talking shit to the Astros, baseball doesn't have a whole lot of that anymore, I don't think. Football, we had Richard Sherman barking off to the Niners when he was with the Seahawks, and there was that rivalry for a bit, but I feel like lately there hasn't been a whole lot of that in the other sports, but in basketball there's always a player talking shit about another player, and you like seeing those sort of personalities clash on the court. And that definitely adds a level of excitement as well, because you can form the heroes and the villains in your league. And who do I hate? Who do I want to hate watch? Now it's like, now that Harden's on the Rockets, like I don't even give a shit about the Rockets anymore.
Right,
like,
exactly, So
I've hated the Rockets forever, and I think they might be better without Harden now, but they don't have Harden, so like
the villain is gone.
Because I just hated Harden so much, and he was also playing for a team that would always challenge the Spurs,
Speaking of Harden, how do you feel about the Nets team? What's your thoughts on that collection of players?
I mean, they can't defend anybody, but they're fun to watch. I'll just like Shea Serrano said, when they all get going, you have no other choice but to die. Like when KD and Harden and Kyrie are all going off, like what do? You don't have a choice. And it's one thing when they all go off, but even if 2 out of 3 go off, you're still going to lose. It's gonna be they're fun to watch. It's a fun team to watch. I actually am more interested and kind of hate Harden less now that he's there.
Yeah, I kind of felt the same thing. I don't know. It's just like I've always had a sympathy for it seems like there's been a run of there's a new Thanos in NBA all the time. It was LeBron and the Heat. At first they were always the villains, and I became a secondary Heat fan because of that, because I always have the sympathy where I'm like, I really want LeBron to win. He promised 7 titles, I feel really bad if he doesn't deliver. Oh, everybody's hating on him. Kevin Durant with the Warriors, same thing. And now that team's been assembled, and I was also a really big Steve Nash fan, so I'm like, oh, it's his first time as a coach. Just come on, guys.
Let's figure this out.
Let's figure this out. I hope the Nets win. But at the same time, I mean,
well, I know that Kyrie, for a bit didn't really love Steve Nash and wasn't really super happy with that signing. I don't know how things are now because I haven't kept up in the past week or so. But Yeah, I feel the same way. I have always I've always appreciated and respected the hell out of LeBron in his career. I've never been a
Yeah.
LeBron hater unless it's like against the Spurs or whatever.
Right.
But I'm never this guy. Again, I have like so many friends from back home that are Lakers fans that hated LeBron, right?
Right.
Because he was a threat to Kobe and he was a threat to kind of their their relevance, I guess.
Or just like the
and
greater basketball legacy, I guess.
yeah, and then even when he joined the Lakers, they were just like, "Oh, I don't fucking want this
Right.
guy. Come on, dude! Like,
I don't want the best player.
yeah, I don't want to like do the whole LeBron MJ thing. I think
Right.
LeBron is a better player, and I don't think that I just don't understand the I can understand the hate because you're mad that he wins a lot, but there are still people out there that legitimately act like he sucks.
Right.
And it's absolutely bonkers to me when you look at the team that he lost to the Spurs with
Yeah.
against in that '07 finals.
Yeah,
You look at the
that
teams
Cavs
he's taken
team.
far in the playoffs. It's like, who are these teammates?
Right.
This is unbelievable what he does. Like it again, he just wherever he goes, you're gonna either make the conference playoffs or conference finals or the NBA finals.
Exactly.
And it's insane what he's been able to do still at this age. And so I've always respected the hell out of his career. But now kind of getting those Thanos vibes.
Yeah.
Like now with the Lakers, I just think they're too good now. It's like, I
Right.
don't want you to have it this easy, you know, like you already won last year. Again, fake championship didn't count, right?
The Mickey Mouse ring.
Yeah, a little Disney, the Mickey Mouse Invitational,
Mhm.
Disney Championship or whatever. But this year, like they got even better. It's like, man,
It's like
you're
wait
making
a
it less-
second. Yeah.
making it less fun, man.
one Lakers ring is fun. Another one, I don't know about this.
Yeah, like all right, let's dial it back. Los Angeles Lakers. I just don't like that they added all these other players, and obviously, anybody who's a free agent is so inclined to go over there. 'Cause
Exactly. Yeah.
it's a
They attract-
guaranteed championship run. You know,
all the veterans
barring
towards
any injury.
into their run, joining up a team, get that last ring before you head out the
Yeah.
door. Well, while we're here,
I'll tell you what, I never thought AD would have been healthy. Like
yeah,
I kind of immediately had written off the trade. I was like, he'll play 40 games a season. Who cares? Like
Right.
I don't. And but maybe he's getting a little bit of that LeBron doctor help, you know.
Mhm. Yeah, if you can play
that's
till
the
you're
only thing that could explain this.
yeah MVP at 37. Maybe you can help out a 20, I don't know, 7-8-year-old AD.
A young ailing kid who, you know, again, like I just don't understand how LeBron's body just is like
works
this.
the
It's
way
just-
that it does. Yeah, it's a crazy thing because it's like his age now is what he's doing at his age now is insane, but also to think about through his whole career, like he's barely missed time in general. Like
it makes zero sense when he was kind of boycotting the whole start of this season happening that early. I thought he was going to miss a lot of time. I thought he's going to be tired this year. Yeah, they just came off again, a fake championship run, not a real championship. But he came off that run, and it looks like he's been off the past 2 years just resting. Like I just don't I don't understand how he's able to do it. It's insane. But definitely that first Heat series, I was as a Spurs fan, I never really hated the Mavs growing up.
right.
I really wanted Nowitzki to win. I just wanted him because I felt the end was coming. And I think he deserved it. And I think he's always been such a fun player to watch. That's the thing. Like, there's so many players I should have hated my whole life,
Yeah.
like Nash
Mhm.
and the Suns, but I fucking loved watching Nash play. Like,
Yeah.
all those intense playoff series against the Spurs.
So
I
much
loved
fun.
watching
Yeah.
Nash play.
Hey, did you ever listen to? We're getting in the weeds here a little bit. Did you ever listen to Amin's like local hours, the interviews with Mike Ryan? Where
Yeah.
those were like I love those. I'm sad that those just kind of like ended. But yeah, it's hearing all that like behind the scenes stuff during that time was crazy too. While we're here in the basketball zone, it's the name of this segment. It's totally planned segment, the basketball zone.
B-ball zone, yeah.
BBZ. Let's read a couple basketball zone questions. like from the one and only King franchise, Andrew Francis, is
Andrew.
asking, is the Lakers Nets finals inevitable? We know you're a great, predictor, prognosticator,
Yeah.
expert picker, history of that, like your Super Bowl selections in the past, you and Nick, totally spot on. So who does Andy have in the NBA finals this year?
Man, I don't know if the Nets make the finals. I think the Lakers definitely make the finals again. I think they'll win against whoever they play against. I don't think it'll be the Nets, and I think it's going to come down to I'm going to go with the Lakers for sure in the Western Conference, and I'm going to close my eyes and just pick a team
Pick
at
a random
random
team.
for the Eastern Conference. Hold on, let me just get in here real quick.
A drum roll.
Just
Oh, that's
close
not a
my
drum roll.
eyes.
What is it? That's a drum roll.
Perfect. That sounds great. Sounded very accurate. I'm gonna go with. You know what? Yeah, fuck it. I'll go with the 76ers.
That's from all the 76ers fans out there. Let's keep going down. So we already talked a little bit about the Miami Heat, but another great friend of the show, Ashley at It's Me Sombra, wants to know what you have against the Miami Heat and why are you wrong? Why do you hate them?
I don't hate the Heat.
She doesn't hate the Heat.
Of course, I hated the Heat in the title run days because it's a living nightmare. 2013, Ray Allen. It's one of the worst sports memories in my lifetime.
Yeah.
I was over at my friend Mike's house, and it was over. It was over. The game was over. Manu missed a couple free throws. So did Kawhi Leonard. Tim Duncan missed a little bunny shot. The game was fucking done until those things happened. And then, it was at a point where I'm at my friend Mike's house, and his whole family's there, and he's patting me in the back. He's like, "Wait, we fucking got this shit, dude." And I was like, "Hey, all right, let's chill out. I don't know, man. I don't know." And then, sure enough, I think Kawhi missed a free throw first, and then maybe Manu. I forget the order. And then, Pop took off Tim Duncan because they wanted to cover the threes better. He took him off the floor for defense, and nobody's gonna forget the LeBron James missed 3-pointer.
Right.
Everybody just thinks about the rebound and the
exactly.
toss out to Allen.
Yeah. It's like, where did that rebound
LeBron
come from?
missed the fucking 3-pointer, and the ball bounced perfectly to Chris Bosh.
Mm-hmm.
And then they which arguably over the back on TP. It's all good. We won't talk about that. But then Ray Allen drains that shot, and that 2013 finals is one of the worst things because I knew Game 7 we're not gonna win. It was this or nothing. Game 7 is just you could just write that off as a loss, and they're gonna lose, and they did. And then 2014 then became probably my favorite sports seasons of all time.
Yeah.
I think it's like the most storybook thing ever. To put it simply, Sombra, I don't hate the Heat. I just hate the 2013 Heat.
But yeah, let's keep it going with a few of these questions here in the basketball zone. So Chris, Rumble Pack 92, he asks. So we're talking currently. Do you cry after every Spurs game this season, like he does? That's what he says.
No, not at all.
I wonder when. So this was Friday. Are they on a little win streak? Because I know they're above 500. They're 12 and 10.
They're 12 and 10. I think I have obviously changed what my expectations are of this team. I'm so excited to watch these young players. It's gonna sound weird, but it's almost like a millionaire losing a lot of their money and being like, this is going to be exciting. I get to experience something new.
Yeah.
And that's how I've kind of felt with the Spurs, where all of the old vets are gone. We thought we had the future in Kawhi, and he just didn't want to be there. This is depressing, and I definitely hit that depressing point of we had it. Like, we were going to go from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
We were going from Brady to Andrew Luck, which obviously Luck didn't pan out.
Right.
But, I thought Kawhi was going to be here for 15 years, and I thought we were going to build around him, and it already looked like he was going to become the best player in the league. And I had just such high hopes, and to have all of that taken away, it was just such a heartbreaking thing.
Yeah, and in the way that it happened too, it's just like
the way it went down was more annoying.
Mhm.
That's now I could finally understand the anger that a lot of fan bases go through whenever their star player does that and is angry about something. You're not quite sure why they're angry, but it's because they just want to leave. They don't want to be in San Antonio. It's not the injury. You were never hurt. Like, you were cleared by team doctors several times. You just wanted to
Mhm.
rest. Your uncle Dennis wanted you out of San Antonio. I don't cry after every Spurs game. I've watched, I think, every game this year. There've been a couple of games where I'll watch the first half and then I go to stream and I'll have just kind of the game on in
Mhm.
another window. I'm already making conclusions about our current roster. I thought Lonnie Walker was going to be that guy, and now I don't think he's going to be that guy.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to be a superstar, and now I don't think he's that at all.
Mhm.
I think
Young
that
players in the NBA, like it's so
Such a
sporadic
crapshoot.
every
Yeah.
year. With the Hawks, like last year, watching, we had DeAndre Hunter and we had Cam Reddish, and Hunter was like the number 4 pick and Reddish was like number 8. And I was convinced, I was like Hunter did nothing like most of the year. I was like, this guy like provides, very basic defense, which was supposed to be his specialty. Not a great shooter, not great anything. All of his metrics are down. Reddish was the opposite, and this year it's totally flopped. Like, Hunter is getting like a little, like a tiny, as much as an Atlanta Hawk can get, all-star buzz. And then people are talking about, we need to get rid of Reddish. It's so crazy how all that changes.
It all changed really fast because I remember when I was long time ago when I was very ripped and athletic.
Right.
Batson.
This was
this was December
last year.
before. This was December before quarantine.
Yeah.
And I
Nailed
was
it.
going to the gym often, and I always watch the Spurs games on my phone. I remember watching several games where Lonnie Walker was just popping off,
Mhm.
and he had a couple games where he hit like 6 3-pointers, and it's like, oh my god, this is the guy. We felt
Mhm.
like hopefully this year is just kind of a weird thing, but this year he hasn't really been that, and I've liked what I've seen from DeJounte Murray.
Yeah.
I love that Derek White is coming back and looking like he did before, like even in trying to get into the playoffs of last year, I believe, because I remember being at a movie theater and they were playing the Nuggets to get into the playoffs, I think.
Yeah, it was the year that they were like on the edge and the streak was in the balance and everything. That was a couple of years ago.
I guess this was, yeah, maybe. Yeah. They were playing the Nuggets, and you know what? No, it was maybe the first round of the playoffs. So this is like 2 years ago, maybe then.
Yeah, because the first year without Kawhi, they were still in the playoffs.
And Derek White looked phenomenal, and I think Derek White is that. I think he's going to be an all-star type player. Like, I think eventually when LaMarcus and DeRozan end up leaving wherever they go, I think Derek White will, I guess, see the most value out of not having a lot of other great players around him, because he will be the guy. And I think he's really talented, and I think he's probably going to be the star for the Spurs and put up all-star type numbers. Like, I think he'll be the one to average 22, 23 a game, a lot of assists. He's just a smart ass player, a very, very smart player.
I don't want to take up too much of your time. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do a little speed round. Give me one word for each of these questions.
Fantastic.
From these people. Okay. So we have 2 more from King Franchise. It's getting a little greedy here. We won't penalize you for that one. Just one word. All right. The LeBron and courtside Karen controversy.
Hilarious.
Universal DH.
Necessary.
Where is Deshaun Watson ending up?
Oh man. This one's so tough.
Right.
Are you a Houston fan?
I am a Houston fan. So interesting about that.
I've seen you tweet a lot about Deshaun. I always wondered.
So that's the thing, and I'm gonna try and have my good buddy DJ Sucks on Twitter. I'm gonna have him on the show. The other only other Houston kind of funny fan that I know of. and we were going to try to apply for different for different teams because we went out of there. We went out of there just as much as Deshaun does. And I'm a Clemson fan, so that's where like my Houston thing comes from. So wherever Deshaun goes, I go. I'm excited that he's leaving.
You're okay. So similar to how like my brother's a LeBron fan. You know, what does Rudio say? Rudio, kind of funny community member. I'm not a Heat fan. I'm a wherever Heat at fan.
Yeah, exactly.
And so yeah, that's my brother with the Heat. That's a lot of people with Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now that he's with the Bucks, they're just like they still fuck the Patriots. We root for Brady now.
We root for Brady.
Where does Deshaun Watson end up? I am going to. I would love to see him go to Miami just for the Levitard show.
Right.
Just to hear the content that's made from that.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from that, I want to see him. I want to see him win, and I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with the Bears.
The Bears, interesting. That'd be exciting.
I'm just thinking of a team that's like on the cusp that just needs it and like
they already made the playoffs. yeah, they already made the playoffs with the Trubisky and Foles experiment. Yeah, that'd be crazy since they already like. That's the thing with like them and the Jets. Like, I'd be fine with either, but like you guys already had your chance and you went with Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah, that's your fault. Yeah.
Exactly.
Where do you think he's going?
I don't know. I think it could be the Jets, which like I'm not super excited about, but I've kind of talked myself into it. You know, they got a lot of cap room. Maybe, you know, you get Deshaun Watson, you can get Allen Robinson, some other fun guys. But just like organizationally, like, is this better? Do we know that this is better? I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. So we're way over one word with that one. And I think we'll do the same for this one. I'll give you some time to think about it. Randy Heisen Jr. at Kinda Kingslayer asks he says top 5 favorite sports games are. I'll ask for just your top favorite sports game.
Top favorite sports game, I will go with one of the MVP baseballs, whichever one had Chipper Jones on the cover. I don't remember which one.
I don't remember which one that was either. The one that always sticks out is the Manny Ramirez. That's 2004, I think.
You know what? It wasn't even an MVP. I think it was just MLB 2000 or whatever.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Before they picked that up.
I got to Google it because that's the one that I just remember the most because Chipper Jones had won the MVP and he was on the cover of that game. Again, Chipper Jones, big Trump supporter. I put that part way back in the head.
It's
back there.
It's like fun, like you know.
Wait. MLB The Show 2010. No,
Chipper Jones wasn't in the show.
No way.
But it's fun how
MLB 2001.
2001. It's fun how we can talk about like separating the art from the artist, and then when it comes to sports, it's like almost even more selective. Like I never liked Tom Brady in the first place, and then the Trump supporter thing like makes it worse for me. Where I'm like, oh, this guy's but like Chipper Jones, like same thing. I'm like, let's just I love this guy. I love old Larry.
he tweeted out one time. He tweeted out recently something about like, oh, let me guess, did you vote for Biden? He told somebody that.
Yeah.
And then my brother tagged me and my cousin in that tweet. And I was like, Chipper, no.
No, yeah.
And I was like, Aaron, I think we've always known.
Right.
I didn't have to know, you know? Like I've always kind of known that
you were to make me guess.
Trump supporter.
Yeah.
But with Brady, it breaks my heart even more because of how great he is.
Yeah.
And because I always found myself rooting for him before I know the Trump stuff, because I know a lot of people hated him. And I know that
it's like me with basketball.
It was like LeBron. Like to me,
exactly.
I thought that I always felt like he was the LeBron where people were like, I'm fucking tired of this guy. They're cheaters, deflated balls. It's like, dude, do you really think deflated balls
is making this difference?
Like, like he's fucking like they won by 30 points the game without the deflated balls the next game, you know, like stop lying to yourself, you know.
All right, let's keep taking hacks over here. Ashley, it's me Sombra, also asks, do you
you know what? Wait, hold on. Ashley,
Go ahead.
I don't want to interrupt you. A runner up for favorite game, Ken Griffey Baseball on Super Nintendo with all the made up players.
What were some of those names? Was that the one? Is that the one that has all the famous like ridiculous names?
Yeah, it's because they couldn't get the license.
The
To
license,
anybody. They only
exactly.
had Griffey, so like the Braves players were just kind of facsimiles.
Mhm.
I'll look it up right now, but they had a bunch of ridiculous ass names. What about Ken Griffey
I'm
Jr.'s Super
seeing
Nintendo?
Fighting Baseball on the Super Famicom. Fighting
Definitely not
Baseball.
that.
It has Willie Dustus, Jerome Gride.
Oh hell yeah!
Where's some others? Mike Truck. Mike
Oh,
Truck.
let's see here. The Braves had D Neon to be Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
They had Wait. They had some players named Sasha and Digweed who stand in for John Smoltz and closer Mike Stanton. That's so freaking funny. Yeah, that game was really, really fun to play.
The other one I want to shout out that's on this list that I looked up was Bobson Dugnut. Bobson Dugnut.
Hell yeah.
Real.
He's a triple threat.
He's
right
a
there.
triple threat utility guy.
He's a five. What do they call it?
Five tool.
Player?
Yeah, 5-tool player. But yeah, Ashley wrote, do you so we'll unpack this question. Do you know who Chicharito is? Do you like him? Are you proud of him? Do you know Chicharito, soccer player?
I only know who Chicharito is because my grandma loves him.
Gotcha.
Every time I go over to my grandma's house, she's watching soccer.
Yeah.
Whether it's like just the Mexican national team or whatever league Chicharito plays in.
I think he's
yes,
in
I'm
MLS
very aware
right
of his
now.
name. What's up?
He's with the Galaxy right now. I think he's in MLS still.
Got it. Okay. I definitely do not follow soccer. Never did.
Mhm.
I also I don't know. I had my sports, but I always knew of Chicharito because my grandma like loved him. It was one of those like, it was an endearing sort of like motherly love she had for him.
Mhm.
Aside from that, yeah, I don't really know much about Chicharito, but you know what? I'm proud of you.
Wherever
if
you
you're
are
watching the show.
Andy's proud of you.
And I know he streams and he pops on. He plays a lot of Call of Duty.
That's been the weirdest like development is like all the athletes who are just out here playing Call of Duty. Like one of my favorite receivers is from Clemson. He's on the Chargers, Mike Williams. Like he'll stream all the time. And I'm like, it's like I could watch, kind of funny with their like 3,000 concurrents right now. Or I could watch Mike Williams with his like 30, this millionaire wide receiver. All right, we got Kyle Stevenson, Mr. K-Step. He's asking what your favorite sports rivalry that doesn't include your teams.
I loved the Celtics beating the Lakers.
Yeah.
Kobe's Lakers. I loved how I think it was like a 3-2 lead or a 3-1 lead. The Lakers gave up like a pretty big lead in one of those games, and the Celtics came back and won, and eventually won the championship. So I will say that's one of my favorite rivalries. Of course, Boston and Yankees, like that comeback, coming down back from 3-0, right? Winning 4-3 against the Yankees was something I thought I'd never watch. And it's one of those things where I avoid watching games when I know they're going to give me a lot of stress. And I didn't want the Yankees to win because I've just grown up hating the Yankees.
Yeah, so at that point, down 3-0, you're just like,
why am I watching this anyway? But I did anyway. And to watch every game and be like, wait, it's 3-2 now. This is kind of wild. Oh my God, it's 3-3 now. Holy shit. That was an insane series to watch, but I'm super glad I did. Yeah, I'd say those are kind of the ones I always think of. I thought Brady and Manning had some phenomenal games.
Yeah, that was fun.
Those are some really fun games to watch because it was always, by that point the Cowboys are always out of the playoffs anyway. So,
and it's the other,
I'm just still gonna watch football because I like it.
Yeah, being the other conference, you can just tune in, see what's going on over there, and enjoy that rivalry.
That was great.
So let's go to Cesar Torres at Cesar Towers. He is really excited about the FCFL. All right, he's wild about these wild aces. Doesn't know anything about football, so he wants just a couple tips, couple pointer basics going into this.
Well, Caesar, it's gonna be tough because it's a game that I know and love that is going to be played a bit differently. Right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the shortened field. How is this going to change strategy? I could tell you all, day and night what a team should do when they are at the opponent's 35. You probably go for it because it's too far for a field goal, and punting it, like whatever, you're on the 35, so who gives a shit? You know,
Right.
like it's
And there's
easy to kind of make calls like that.
Yeah, because there's all sorts of different rule changes too, where there's stuff that's being voted on that we don't know the results of yet. There's going to be no kicking whatsoever. And then
the games are an hour long.
The games are an hour long, and then your team is going to be like changed pretty much week to week, right? There's like a draft every week. So I think it's just going to be an exciting, fun thing, and I think the less you know, the better. Maybe I think that's what we'll say.
Yeah, I would say, you know, just be there when we do the watch along because
That's true.
me, Greg, and Mike know football, so we can talk about it and tell people what the thought process was, why they passed to that person. When a wide receiver that you love and know is really athletic, when they have single coverage, you throw it to that person because he's gonna out athlete the dude in front of him. It's gonna be exciting. I'm super stoked. I was always really kind of, you know, is this thing ever gonna happen?
Yeah,
am I gonna
it
care?
seems
But
so
now as we're getting
surreal. It's
closer,
next weekend. It's so surreal that that's happening that fast. Probably not for this first one, but talk to Kevin and get your own Nickelodeon stream going for one of these FCF episodes, or you have
1000%.
You know, Tiny Kevin popping up in the corner explaining,
giving little facts.
Exactly. He's like, well, this is the tackle box.
We gotta get him one of the green screen or his green suits that's just all the way up to his
suit,
neck, so it's just the little head that pops up.
We put
a little clippy.
Put his face like on a player, you know, freeze frame Kevin's face on the player. He's like, I'm the quarterback. I'm gonna hand the ball off in this situation. All right, let's go to. We'll save that one. We'll go to Frankfurter, who asks your favorite ESPN 8 The Ocho sport or segment. Are you familiar? Like, did you ever watch any of those crazy streams when they would do those?
I mean, back in the day, yeah. I would say I loved cornhole. That was fun to watch. Oh shit, I'm trying to think of what other wacky. Let me just Google.
They got World Axe Throwing League. They have.
Didn't really care much about that.
Right. They have what is this 4 a.m.? They have spike ball. They have putt-putt. What is this? Ideal Electricians National Champion? There's there's a title for Best Electrician Lily. I never really watched most of these. I remember these being viral things, but never actually tuning in.
I'm looking right here and seeing the 2008 Classic Tetris World Championship. I'll vote for that.
Oh, okay. There we go. Tetris.
Oh, I'm also seeing 2019 Golden Tee World Championship, and I haven't seen a Golden Tee machine in about a decade.
Wow. Wow. For a second, I didn't even know what you're talking about.
Ball.
But yeah, the arcade game. That's fun. Okay, yeah, I am seeing Tetris on here too. Marble runs were in there too. Huh. That was a hot little thing for a second. What the hell is even that? You remember there was that viral clip? So they just put like marbles on a track and they all roll down, and there's like a dude who's super like insanely commentating, and he's like, "Oh, green's in the lead now. Here comes Pearl," and yeah, that was there.
Right. So it's basically marbles on stream, but
in real life. Yeah,
I remember that video, and then, like the baby blue marble like really popped off in that video with that dude.
So clutch. I
remember that one.
The Ace is Wild podcast tuned in, and they want to know, did Dez catch it?
Yeah, I mean the NFL said that he did. I don't understand the pushback on this.
Right.
Like, it was always a debate. I always thought
we had come to a conclusion. You know,
I'm transporting my mind back to the time, and to me, he caught it.
Right.
He took 3 steps, lunged forward, ball came out. But it was a lunge. It was a football move.
Right.
And I didn't even consider for a second that it wasn't a catch.
Right.
My mind immediately went to, what's the next play?
Yeah, exactly.
What do we call next? Like I saw the play. I was like, okay, cool. Wow, what a crazy fucking catch. Awesome. What's the next play? And like, it hadn't even considered to me that it wasn't a catch until they started doing the challenging. I'm like, what are we doing? You're not that what is happening right now? And I was dumbfounded. I couldn't believe it. And then to just twist the knife in the wound for the NFL that season, for the refs and the officiating or whatever they call themselves, to be like, yeah, he got it. Our bad. Cool. Well, fuck. Like, we're not gonna go back and redo the play.
Play the whole game.
It's done now.
Yeah.
It's just done. So who gives a shit? But yes, he did catch it because the NFL did in fact say, "Hey, my bad. Hey, that's on me, dude." Like they call back, they look in the crowd like, "Yeah, that's on me. That's my foul."
All right, now let's get back to the one answer questions for these last two. Are you ready?
Ready.
All right. Daniel Edmonds at Danny Almas asks, "What is sport?"
Touche.
All right. And then Kumail at Kumail H asks, "What is your favorite sport?"
Basketball.
It's your favorite sport?
I like it when they dribble up and down the court.
I don't remember the next line. I should have been prepared. Hold on.
Me either. He references a couple of athletes.
Right.
Just like Kareem and something. I
One
forgot who he references.
of my favorite opens to a video game is like 2K from it's probably like 2K11 or something.
Yes.
In the open was literally that song with like this super hype, just like going, it's LeBron passing it to Bill Russell and then he passes it to Jason Kidd. And it was just.
That's why I know the song so well.
Right.
Because 2K11 was kind of the year that I was the most into 2K games because of its my player and then creating a my team. And me and my buddies created a team that was like super neon blue and pink and then, we would go do matchmaking against other my teams and they had hacked the shit out of everything. And they were all 7'8" and they all had handles like Steph Curry. Like they could all shoot like fucking Klay Thompson. I was like, oh, this sucks.
Yeah.
Not a fan of this.
Yeah, man. 2K like to this day still garbage, but it was fun. It was a little bit more fun then.
I was addicted to the my career. My career was
for sure.
So addicting. I'll never forget breaking a controller because for some reason, when you're supposed to just kill the clock before trying to get off a final shot, Manu had shot a 3 when I was like begging him to pass the ball. And he shot a 3 when we should have just been killing the clock because the AI just sucks. And I just fucking like threw my controller on the ground. I was like, fuck, like what is I hate it. It's frustrating. But that game, like again, it gave me so many hours of, in a time where I couldn't afford a lot of games. 2K was one of the ones that gave me a lot of entertainment.
Yeah, I think it's insane to me because I'm pretty sure they were still doing like the microtransactions back then, like for my player and everything. And it's insane to me that I like grew a player to 99 overall. Like I put that much time into it. Like
organically?
Organically. I was like, wow. I was so proud of myself. I was like, I didn't spend any money. And then I would go online and it's all these dudes who's 7'8" with these these handles that are ridiculous. I'm like
crossing over people left
I'm like,
and right.
I hate this game. I'm excited to show you our very talented production team came together. We, made the trip very safely, of course, because of COVID. We made the trip over to the old studio and we got this.
Oh my God.
Because guess what? It's Super Bowl prediction time.
Absolutely.
So you and Nick, deadly accurate on your predictions.
Spot on, yeah.
The past 2 years, right? Past 2 years?
Yeah, past 2 years, yeah. The first year, I think we predicted it was going to be like 92 to 89 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to fill in for Nick here. We'll see if I can do just as good of a job. So yeah, you just kind of let me know if I guess I still got to do it. When to stop or that I don't stab myself. So
sure.
Let me back up a second here.
Yeah.
So we can be in the frame. All right. Okay. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, enough. I see it. Yeah, perfect.
See the numbers. We got the red here for the home team, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Can you still hear me? Is this?
Yeah,
still hear me here?
That's fine.
Cool. And then we got the gold here for the Kansas City Chiefs. All right. Are you ready?
Fantastic.
Are you ready for this?
Ready.
Everybody,
ready
your Mike Ryans, your Stu Gotzes, go ahead and just write this down. Not saying, bet the house on this, but
bet the house, lock it all in. I'd say.
Bet the house, lock it all in. Yeah. This is the new GameStop right here. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go. We got Buccaneers up first. I'm now blind. Blindfolded. All right.
Mm-hmm.
We got, this looks like a good spot. Oh, all right. So
Off to a phenomenal start.
What number
Okay,
is
yeah.
that?
So I can't see which one it's closer to. It's kind of in the middle between two.
All right.
That's
I'd say we call that a 9. I think that's closest to 9.
a 9. Okay.
So move this to the 9. Try not to stab myself. Man, this is a lot easier when it's probably thicker. I mean, this is the same one from KFAF for sure, but I'm just not as good at this as Nick.
Mm-hmm.
All right, blindfold back on. And then second digit here for the Buccaneers. And this is probably good.
Looking like a 7. Gonna be a shootout.
Wow.
It's looking
But yeah,
like
that's
97.
closest to 7, yeah. So 97 for old Tom Brady.
Bucks.
There we go. All right, so we got the score. So let's see if old Patty Mahomes can hold this team together. Is this still on? This is still on. All right. I'm trying to even think where I put the first two. I don't remember. Put this one here, close to home. Is that near anything?
That's near the number 8.
Number 8. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, it looks like Patty Mahomes' luck ran out.
I don't know how my math is, but yeah, it doesn't look too good for the Chiefs.
No.
All right, and this next number, let's go right here in the middle. This good guy. Oh, wow, there we go. All right.
Wow, what a final score of 97-88.
97-88. Hey, lucky 88, not so lucky this time. Actually, 88 is not a lucky number. Crazy 88.
Crazy. I think
crazy.
lucky. I think lucky's right.
Lucky's right. Well, there you go. 97-88. Like you said, bet the house.
Bet the house, everybody. I'm locking it in right now. FanDuel.
Take the kids' tuition out of the bank, or no, not kids' tuition. Take the kids' college fund
kids to the bank.
Take the kids to the bank. Take the kids upside down. Shake them a little bit. Whatever comes out.
Yeah.
Put it on there. That's your uncut gem.
FanDuel.com, promo code DUMB.
Promo code DUMB Sports. All right. Well, Andy, thanks for being here. And I'm a little self-conscious about my hair. I messed it up. Thanks for being here. First ever episode. Anything you want to promote on your way out the door?
Twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames. We stream every day. Twitch.tv/Andy Cortez. I stream like 3 times a week. We love y'all very much. Go Spurs, go.
Go Spurs, go. Andy's at Maximum Cortez on Twitter. I'm at Batson. If you want to be on the show, if you have ideas for someone you'd like to be on the show, tweet them at me. And just subscribe where you subscribe, and have a good day.
Take it away, band.
Take it away, band. Oh, that's a burp. That's not a band either. Hold on.
That sounds like I'm in a Spencer's. Oh, there it is. There, charge.
Charge.